Today I wanted to talk about an idea that I learned in NLP or came from NLP. In NLP, we have a collection of ideas called presuppositions. And what I would say is they're ideas that if you try them on, I think you'll find that they're incredibly useful and help smooth things out in situations where you may experience a challenge. But I'm going to talk about a particular one today, which is, it goes something like this, that we have all the inner resources that we need to handle whatever situation comes up or to handle whatever challenge. And with the folks that I work with, we say you have all the inner resources that you need to handle your next developmental challenge. So, at least you have the inner resources to handle your next challenge. So let me unpack that a little bit. So an inner resource is, it could be a capability, it could be an attitude, it could be beliefs, skills. And what this idea means, or I'll speak about my experience, is that somewhere in our history, somewhere in our experience, there are things that we can tap into to get whatever resource we're needing in this particular situation that we may be facing now. And I think that's the crux of it, is that a lot of times when we're facing a challenge or something that we would experience as a problem, what that means to me is, because it's a challenge, it almost means that we don't have access to resources. But not having an access to a resource is different than not having the resource. So, somebody could say, I don't have, this is one I've experienced teaching guitar. Somebody will say, like, I'm not musical, or I don't have rhythm. And that's a statement as if that thing is fixed in time. However, if we use this resource, if we use this idea about resources, we might get curious about, okay, I may not be present to it now, but where is a place in my life where I am musical, or where I do have rhythm? And sometimes you have to be clever looking for other situations, other times and places where you may have had access to that. I'll give another example. I was working on a problem for a work project, and I was really feeling stuck. I felt like I couldn't figure this thing out, and I was starting to feel like really disempowered, really not capable. And I gave it a little break, and I was walking around, and then I remembered that I love puzzles. I love puzzles, and I love things like troubleshooting technology. And as soon as that idea, I brought that idea, and it merged with the context that I was working on with this work problem, it just brought a kind of a rush of energy and a whole different set of ways of thinking about the challenge that I was facing. And it wasn't too long after that I was able to navigate that area really, really easily. One thing I would recommend is, if there is a particular challenge that you're experiencing at any given moment, just make a note of it and then put it to the side for a moment and begin to get curious. Where are the places in your life where you do feel resourceful? What are the contexts where you feel really empowered, where you have agency to get things done? And begin to make a list of those. And it could be things that you just enjoy. And I think if you start spending time with that list, this is a very journal approach to this. There are other techniques we can use to tap into resources and move them to a different context. But even just making a list of times and places where you do well, or you enjoy things, or where things have gone well. you may find that you'll spot something, and maybe you're not feeling creative, and then you realize, oh, you know what, when I cook, I'm very creative. Or maybe I'm really creative when maybe I'm good at buying gifts for people, and that's a place where my creativity comes out. Or maybe I enjoy telling jokes, and I'm good at making up jokes. So there's all these different contexts where creativity may be living, but you may not have labeled it that way. So I would encourage you this week to just look around and almost go on a treasure hunt for different inner resources that you have, and so that you can have more ready access to them when challenges do come up.